हेलो एंड वेलकम टू द न्यू वीडियो ट्यूटोरियल्स ऑफ हॉटस्पॉट बायोलॉजी विद ताहिर अवान के साथ। आई होप आप बहुत ही अच्छे से पढ़ रहे होंगे। आज के वीडियो सेशन में हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल सा स्ट्रक्चर आपने पहले ही देख लिया होगा। आज जो हम चीज़ डिस्कस करने वाले हैं दैट इज द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द एग और स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ओवम, राइट। जिस तरह से हमने स्पर्मेटोजेनेसिस के बाद स्पर्म का स्ट्रक्चर डिस्कस किया था, उसी तरह से आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ एग। तो उसके बाद हम ये भी देखेंगे व्हाट आर द डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ स्पर्म एंड द एग। तो चलिए वीडियो शुरू करते हैं। इफ आई लुक एट द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द ह्यूमन फीमेल egg, it is a rounded structure, right? And also it is basically non-motile female gamete। जिस तरह से मेल जो sperm होता है उसमें एक flagella होता था that helps in the movement, so and comparatively the female gamete is non-motile and it is rounded, right? उसके बाद जो फीमेल गैमीट रहता है इसका साइज कंपैरेटिवली ह्यूमन स्पर्म के बहुत बड़ा होता है and it is much larger and measures about 100 micrometer in size. Then the another very important thing is that it is alacithal. So basically the I have not written the heading here, so let me put the heading here. It is the ovum structure of ovum, right? So this ovum is basically alacithal. So you can also call it egg, right? So what is the meaning of alacithal? This ovum is without yolk. This is without yolk. किसी तरह का इसमें yolk कंटेंट नहीं होता है and also it is non-pleodoic. Now what is non-pleodoic basically? आपने देखा होगा कि जो एग रहता है, जब भी आपके माइंड में एग की बात आती है तो तुरंत से याद आ जाता है इट शुड हैव ए हार्ड कवरिंग कैल्केरियस शेल। सो द एग और द ओवम वेयर द हार्ड कैल्केरियस शेल इज एब्सेंट इज बेसिकली नॉन प्लेडोइक एग। सो इट इज विदाउट एनी शेल, किसी तरह का भी शेल नहीं होगा। आई होप समझ में आ गया होगा। इट इज नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट। चलिए अब डिस्कस करते हैं the structure of ovum. So if I look at the structure of the ovum, we can see the different layers. So in the center of the egg, the cytoplasm is present. So the cytoplasm of the egg or the ovum is known as ooplasm. It is called ooplasm, right? Now this ooplasm is surrounded by a membrane. You can see this membrane. So this membrane is known as plasma membrane, right? This is known as plasma membrane, and the plasma membrane of ovum is also known as oolemma. You can also write it oolemma. So there is hardly any difference. In fact, no difference between plasma membrane or oolemma. You can write any one of them. Now, the cytoplasm contains a prominent nucleus. It contains a prominent nucleus inside, having a nuclear membrane and a very big nucleolus, right? So this is nucleus. This is nucleus and this is a nucleolus. This is nucleolus. So as I already told you, it is a well defined nucleus with nucleolus and the nuclear membrane and nucleoplasm, right? Now this nucleus is in the stage of metaphase, because metaphase 2, just remember the oogenesis. This is in metaphase 2 stage. This ovum has not been fertilized. The structure of fertilized ovum is somewhat different. We will discuss it when we will study the process of fertilization, right? So because this is prominent nucleus, so this nucleus is also known as germinal vesicle. This is also known as germinal vesicle because it is the germ cell of the female. Now what we are observing very very carefully, the peripheral end of this ooplasm contain some rounded bodies at the peripheral positions. So these rounded amine structures are known as cortical granules. So these cortical granules, basically when the sperm enters the egg, so they prevent the additional entry of the sperm. We will study it when we will study the process of fertilization, right? So these cortical granules lies basically under the plasma membrane. They are under the plasma membrane or the polyma. Now the next structure that we are observing is the green color layer. So the green color layer is basically the ooplasm, or you can say plasma membrane. But why we have made a distinct green layer? This green layer is basically the layer which contain, you can say, poles layer, right? This is basically the poles layer. Now I have written here poles. It means this layer have two poles. So just watch very very carefully. I have drawn one nucleus in this green layer. So this nucleus is known as polar body, right? So this nucleus is known as polar body. So as I already told you, this is basically the poles layer. So it means this egg has a definite polarity. So the pole which is just near the polar body, this end is known as animal pole, and this end is known as vegetative pole. This is known as vegetative pole, and the space that is between this animal pole and the vegetative pole, or you can say that the space that occupy this polar body is known as pre-vitelline space. So this green color space is known as pre-vitelline space. So in place of poles layer you can write pre-vitelline space, right? So after the pre-vitelline space you can see the red color layer. So this is a very hard layer. Which is derived from the egg cell. So which is derived from this, basically the site which is derived from the plasma membrane layer. So this red color layer is known as the layer of zona pellucida, and this zona pellucida layer is a glycoprotein layer. It is a glycoprotein layer first of all, and it is non-cellular layer. Now this zona pellucida is basically a protective layer which is non-cellular, because it is protective layer. So when the sperm will enter this, or the sperm will reach this zona pellucida layer, this zona pellucida will act as a recognition factors. So remember the topic when we studied the pollen pistil interaction. So that in that case there were some factors that were released by pollen and the pistil. So in the same way this zona pellucidal layer contains the recognition factors. It contains recognition factors. So there are three recognition factors. How many? There are three recognition factors that are present in zona pellucidal layer. That is ZP1, ZP2, ZP3. So how they work, we will discuss when we will study the process of fertilization. Is that clear to you? So this is basically the whole layer. One more thing, this zona pellucida is basically a transparent layer. It is basically a transparent hard layer. Now, so after the zona pellucida, there is one more coating outside the zona pellucida. So I have already told you when we studied the structure of follicle, right? So it is somewhat similar. So outside the zona pellucida layer, there is a layer which is formed of granulosa cells, and this layer is known as corona radiata. This layer is known as corona radiata. I don't think it is very difficult for you, and it is thick layer multicellular, thick multicellular layer, and it contains radially elongated cells. Radially elongated cells, as I have shown here. So these are basically the nucleus of the corona radiata layer. Now, as I told you, zona pellucida is secreted by this plasma membrane. So zona pellucida is also known as the primary layer of the ovum, and the corona radiata is known as the secondary layer of the ovum. Is that clear to you? Right? So both of these layers. Now one more thing. Both of these layers, they are held together by a very particular, or you can say very special type of chemical. So I will written here. I will write here the chemical which binds the, or you can say which held the layer of zona pellucida and corona radiata. That chemical is known as hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid. So just remember the structure of sperm. I have told you one protein there, one enzyme there, that was the hyaluronidase. So that protein will rupture this membrane which contains the hyaluronic acid. Is that clear to you? Right? So this was basically the structure of ovum. One more thing you have to remember, that is very important. This whole structure of ovum or the egg does not contain any type of you can say that we have studied in the sperm, the centriole. So centriole is absent. Centriole is absent in case of structure of ovum, right? So this was the whole structure of the ovum. So I hope everything is clear to you. Now I will tell you the differences between the structures of sperm and ovum, right? So what I will do, I will tell you the differences between the sperm and the ovum. So you should write the differences in your notes, right? So start writing the differences. So the first difference between the sperm and the ovum is that sperm is the male gamete, ovum is the female gamete. Second difference, the size of sperm is about 60 micrometer and that of ovum is 100 micrometer. Difference number third, the centriole is present in sperm whereas it is absent in ovum. The cytoplasm content in the ovum is very large and the cytoplasm content in the sperm is absent or very or negligible, very small or nearly negligible, right? Now flagella is present in the sperm and flagella is absent in ovum. Because of that flagella, sperm is motile and the ovum is non-motile. Sperm is a flagellated structure, ovum is a rounded structure. One more difference, one day millions and millions of sperms are produced in the male gonads, that is testes, but in the whole 28-day cycle only one ovum is matured or only one ovum is produced. The sperms are produced in the whole are produced during the whole life of the male, but the eggs are produced only between the age of that puberty and the menopause. In case of women, the one more structure that I want to tell you, that there are many mitochondria. You can also draw them. Many mitochondria are present in the structure of ovum, and they are also present in that, but basically it is not like a difference. One more thing, the maturation of sperm requires 64 days or nearly 2 months, but the maturation of ova requires several years. So it takes about 13 years, because at that time the first menstrual cycle starts in the woman, right? So in case of mitochondria, the mitochondria, you can write that the mitochondria are scattered. They are scattered in case of ovum, or they are scattered in the structure of ovum, but in case of sperm they were present only in the, you can say, the region below the neck, right? So that was the middle piece, sorry. Rest. So these were some of the basic differences between them. Also you can write that the reserve food content in the sperm is very low, and the reserve food content in the egg or ovum is very large, right? So these were the basic differences. One more difference, sorry, I just remember that the protective layers are present in case of ovum, but the protective layers in case of sperm are absent. So this was all about the structure of ovum and the differences between the ovum and the sperm. I hope everything is clear to you now. So I hope you will like the video and you will subscribe the channel and will hit the bell icon for our next videos. So till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and bye bye.